Hello, I'm back. But this time, this is kind of off of one of my Hallmark movies. Now, mind you, I didn't pay close attention to all the other ones, so I may look at them and be like, you know what, this one movie that I reviewed that probably got copyrighted all of the countries except for maybe one. Yeah, this one was not, thankfully. But this is The 9 Lives of Christmas. I've also heard this be called The Nine Cats of Christmas or something around those lines by Sheila Roberts. And I reviewed recently the Hallmark movie by the same one. Two different things straight off the bat. When I looked on Amazon, because a lot of people had said, yeah, I got this because of the Hallmark movie. I got this because of the movie. Then I scroll down to the very bottom to kind of get like the critique reviews, because a lot of these were pretty like tame. They're like, I really like this, I like the characters, blah blah blah. There's one that said, I thought this was going to be a cute little story, but they swear so much it turned me off. And I'm like, okay, Karen, whatever the fuck. No, yeah, they do sometimes. Some of the characters are now kind of broken in my head of what they were in the movie. Like, Marliee has a lot of, she has a lot of body issues, kinda. And then she kind of is trying to push toward, Zach, that's his name. Trying to get to be with Zach. And Zach has very wandering eyes. He also is very quick to jump in a relationship, but he's like, okay, I'll go for this girl who's kind of interested in me. Stop. No, you're thinking about being with me and accepting a marriage? Stop. Bye. Anyway, I'm kind of going to talk back and forth about this in the movie, so I'm not going to intentionally, but I'm going to try and go more on just the book. We get this in Ambrose's perspective a few times, so I think that would have been a better opportunity in this. His perspective is on and off. You will, at the beginning of this chapter, of chapter 1, and then near the end, definitely. But it's on and off to the point where it doesn't matter in a sense, but you do get his like input on things, like when they go to take him to the place that Marliee works at, and there's get your pet's picture taken with Santa, and he's like, no, Santa's evil, which I thought that was pretty funny. And again, there is some swearing in here. They do say asshole. Ambrose kind of alludes to Zach's ex, who I forget what her name is, calling him not so nice names, and I thought that was pretty funny. It essentially starts with Ambrose being chased by a dog, and he's chased up a tree, and he's basically begging, because he even says, when a guy's in trouble, he starts making deals with his creator, and Ambrose the cat is no exception. Yeah, he basically is pleading to God, or whatever God is out there. And here comes Zach, who's in jogging attire, and he goes and helps the cat. The cat follows him unbeknownst, like just walking around and is like, I know who that guy is. He's definitely the person who I'm supposed to be with, because this is my last chance. Ambrose actually talks about his other lives, and one of them very darkly is that he was trying to get through a kitty or a doggy door, and he was being chased by a dog, and instead of going through the doggy door, he hits the door and he breaks his neck. Like, some of these are very like graphic, but not graphic. There was one where he got into a tree and a dog, like, the branch fell and he got basically bit by a dog, and that's how he looked. He doesn't have another ear. This cat is more like the one from the Hallmark movie. Ambrose doesn't really have, either he doesn't have a full ear, or it's like kind of nibbled on. Maybe, I'm not sure. It's not described, but it's definitely like alluded that he has a missing ear or a not good looking ear. Do you have a not so good looking ear? She's literally like, she's like, I don't give a shit. You were a stray once. I'd take that back. I stole her. I did, though. She was pregnant.
You're stuck with me forever.
Zach is still fixing up this house, and he is basically fixing it to sell it. I think in the movie he is too, but I'm not too sure. And he is still a firefighter. Also, Zach is not Mr. Brown Eyes like in the movie. He is blonde hair, blue-eyed. And, actually, Marliee is a redhead and green eyes, which it's alluded to 2 or 3 times. Same with Zach, it's not alluded to a lot what they look like, but the movie, it's very much like Mr. Brown Eyes here, and I'm like, okay. But even then, their appearance didn't really matter, and their personalities didn't really, because thank God they toned down Zach's personality of being like, I have a girlfriend. Nice tits. Like, he really did. He really did. Ambrose sneaks into the house. Zach is kind of like, come on now, like, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, I can't take you in, buddy. And Ambrose is like, I'm stuck here now. You're living with me. And everything actually gets along really good with them. Until it doesn't. We do see Marliee, who's not a vet student, actually. In the Hallmark movie, she is. In this one, she's not. She's just working at the pet supply place, which either or, she gets fired from it anyway. Oh no, the whore. But Zach's ex is actually a cougar. She is a 40-something-year-old woman. I think in the movie, are Marliee and Zach like late 20s or early 30s? I don't remember. But it is definitely alluded that Zach's ex is a cougar, and she has a 12 or 14-year-old son, and she's divorced, so she's not gonna be marrying, which she will be. Even though she's like, I'm not looking for a marriage. She will basically be like, that ring's cute. Oh, that ring's cute. Oh, this one would fit over my finger just right. Just right here. Oh, it'd go over both of these. Oh my God. And she's got very expensive taste. Do you want to hold the book? Zach is still a firefighter, but during these times we get to meet one of his buddies, Randy. Randy is a divorcee. I think it's supposed to be like the one kind of wise leader in the movie, but I don't know. The other guys aren't really talked about, so it's kind of a who cares situation. Zach and Marliee as well have very kind of like distinct families. Zach's is broken up, where you'll find out why later on, but the mom divorced the dad, and the dad never got over that love, and through that marriage it was Zach and his brother, who's not talked about, so forget he exists, and the dad's a drinker, he's an alcoholic, and the mom basically, she decided, you know what, I got a new guy, he gets a stepdad, and they have 2 kids. I think they're like preteens. I can't remember. They're young. And Zach doesn't like the stepdad. Stepdad's kind of like, to him, a dick, and is one of those guys that's like, you're not my blood, so I'm not going to treat you like my son. You're just the child of the woman like that I'm married to and shit. Like, these 2 are my daughters. You're just the whatever. You're just the little extra tags that come with the package, that sort of thing. Marliee has a younger sister, an older sister, and I think 2 older brothers, or maybe 1 older brother. One's a movie star, one's an accountant, I forget the other one. The sisters are the only ones that come into play later on. They help her get dresses and boy talk and all that. After some time, we do get like a lot of dialogue between the ex not liking Ambrose of Zach's, to the point where like he doesn't know cats need a litter box and they go outside. Now mind you, this is like, especially because he was outside, so you probably wouldn't know, or they'd feel better being in the litter, being better going outside. She was litter trained, and I don't know if like back and forth or whatever, but Ambrose is litter box trained. Oh, I also forgot to mention that He does have a collar named Ambrose, but Zach calls him Tom for quite a bit. And he did live with an old lady. She died. And the family just basically opens the door and it's just like, uh-oh, Ambrose, bye. Like that sort of thing. Because they weren't going to take him in. They were going to take him to shelter. And throughout this book, it's very much just take him to shelter, take him to shelter. And everyone in this book is like, yo, if you take him to a shelter, he's never going to come out. And everyone's just like... And number one, there's another person who comes later on. And she's like, Marliee is like, dude, it's fucking Christmas. What do you mean? Like, do you know how many people are not going to get, like, adopted? These dogs, they're going to be put down on Christmas? And the guy just goes, it's so bad. And yes, but also, Moving swiftly along because I don't remember how much time is actually in that review. Ambrose is needing quite a bit of stuff and he's kind of trying to play lovemaker for Zach and Marliee. Marliee actually ends up getting some good insults on Zach's ex because she's a bitch. And she's basically like, you need therapy at one point. And I was like, go bestie, like go bestie. That day, because the sudden just insult of being like, she suddenly had a personality change. She really flipped out whenever Ambrose, who was scared because they're trying to get the picture taken with Santa, and he scratches her. And it's not like a terrible wound or anything. He's scared, okay? Get that through your head. He is scared. She's like, oh my god, that fucking thing needs to be put down. And I'm like, number one, if you are ever scared, would I put you down? If we're going up a mountain and you look over and you start getting like the jitters of going, I can't move anymore, I can't move anymore, I'm going to have to put you down now. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? No. He is scared. When animals are scared, they scratch, they bite, they pull themselves, they try and run away, okay? Because of that incident, Zach and his ex do break up because she's just a bitch. She wants Ambrose to be gone. Like 100% gone. And even offers to take him to a shelter. And I already know this bitch is going to take him to like the shelter that like you send them there day one and they, you know. There are real places like that too. Talk to your local vet technician. Also, some of them that go to a shelter, they actually get fixed by vet technician students in training. So, FYI, they have a good chance of also not living, but also, welcome to your Let's Go Vet Tech student in training. Tell you this now. Anyway, they break up. She gave him a Christmas tree, and then he goes to deliver it back, and Ambrose is kind of like, good. Also, at one point, she hit him with his car, and that's how he lost, like, life number 5 or 6. Which I think is kind of funny, but also, that's not funny. That incident with the ex and Marliee kind of bickering, she gets fired, and she goes to work at part-time at the local animal shelter. And she has Queenie, and Queenie is like just a white cat. I don't know if it's, like, Persian or whatever. It's just a white cat because I really like Queenie's design, or the cat that they got for Queenie in the Hallmark movie. She's super gorgeous, like calico cat. She's super pretty. I don't think she's ragdoll, but also I think she's like Norwegian ragdoll. I think that's the name for her. Either that or it's just, hey, fluffy long-haired cat. But anyway, she's keeping her under, like, secret, like, hush-hush because her apartment, the year she moved in, mind you, decided no animals. Now, mind you, I could see both sides of, like, hey, this is my animal. I'm taking this baby in. And then there's also the other point of, you know what, as a realtor, as a person who's renting these places out, cat urine does not get out of carpets. The dog smell does not get out the second, the third, the fourth time you wash these beddings, okay? I understand. I get it. As someone with animals, yes. 110%. Yes. Wouldn't you know it, at one point in time, they find out and basically tell her to get rid of the cat on Christmas. And the owner dude is like a dick too. And in the movie, they live there for a little bit. In the book, they don't. It's only for like the one day where she's a sobbing mess too, by the way. Like, she's an absolute mess. Zach actually says that he can give the kitty a home. And he gives them to his stepsisters. Now, mind you, again, they're preteens. And they're super happy about it. We get talks with the mom and the stepdad. The mom, she's got a lot of issues. You'll see, like, later on where your mind changes about that. But also, it's like, when your kid gets older, you would expect them to kind of understand the truth. Or be able to handle, like, more serious situations. Especially a fucking firefighter who has seen probably enough shit in his life. So, you know, the house of his, because he decides to work on Christmas Eve, and he goes on Christmas Eve, and he leaves to go and do stuff, and he gets a call at the station that it's his mom and stepdad's place, and that the stepdad's not there. The stepdad went to go save the cat. That kind of makes him be like, oh shit, this guy actually cares about other things. And one of the kids accidentally had a candle burning. It caught onto the curtain, and it just, the whole house pretty much went up in flames. Everyone's fine. The stepdad goes to the hospital, which it's also revealed through the mom after, like, everyone's at Zach's place, because he's not going to leave them to, like, fend for themselves. It's still his family. Like, and generally, this kind of makes it be like, okay, you are the bigger person. He has a lot of disagreements with his family, but he does not hate his sisters. He doesn't care for the stepdad, but he's also like, okay, this guy kind of, like, gained my respect here. And he doesn't like his mom. He doesn't hate his mom, but it's more like a, you abandoned me, you left to go to a different state. It turns out his biological dad cheated with his aunt, the mom's sister. And she basically, they tried to make it work, and it didn't. And she went and married someone else. The dad never got over it because he tried to make it work. And I'm like, at that point, yeah. But at the same time, he's old enough now to know. Like, and that would be, you know what? That'd be older teenager talk to where you can understand this. And even then, the dad wasn't going to say it either. And I don't think the mom was just going to be like, hey, remember your dad who you've been staying with? Well, here's the thing. Yeah, no. And I get that, but also it's like, one of these days you would have had to have told your son. And I pray to God it wasn't going to be on your deathbed. But also, that's not my family. That's not my situation. Marliee, throughout this too, it's mostly through Zach. And again, just like the movie, Marliee is kind of like a in and out kind of topic of, because she's talking about going to vet school, and she's also like getting dolled up. Like she gets a bunch of like expensive pretty stuff from her sisters so that way she can look good to be with Zach. And Zach and her have a falling out but get back together, whoop-de-doo. And the stuff with Queenie happens, which I kind of like in the movie that she keeps Queenie. But, like, now that she's married to Zach, she'll be able to see Queenie more. Ambrose calls Queenie Persephone, which I think that's really cute. And they kind of, I'm thinking that either they're together or it's just like you're, like, I know you type of thing. Like, we're friendly. Like, we're good-natured friendly. Nothing goes on more between that. I think in the movie it's kind of like they're definitely together because Zach and Marliee are together. And again, I really like the stuff with the sisters and Zach and how he's trying to make them feel better because their house just fucking burnt down. The one sister's feeling really bad because she thinks that her stepdad's not going to make it. He's perfectly fine. But she's like, I fucked up Christmas. And he's like, no, to be fair, it could have happened at any time. It happened to be on Christmas. We're very lucky that I was there, that a lot of stuff could be salvaged, that you guys made it out. Like, that's all that matters. Thank you, Smokey. Marliee is on her own kind of mission of, like, she's trying to stand up for herself, and everyone's just like, okay, bye. Like that sort of thing. During this time, actually, because Zach is seeing another girl. It's hinted at. We don't see her. But during this whole Christmas fiasco thing, he realizes that he wants to go and see Marliee. And Marliee is the one. And Marliee opens the door to be like, yeah, what? And then he makes out with her. And then we get a straight jump cut to a year later where Marlee's in vet school. Zach and her are living together. He's like planning to propose to her. And that definitely they're gonna be kids around, but that's Ambrose's talk. So that's pretty much how it is. It is very much different from this book because Zach has such wandering eyes and very much is like, oh, that dress on her, it shows the girls, like that sort of thing. And even Marliee is not like, she starts thinking about, because they're playing Clue at one point, and there's a pool table, and she's like, Zach should take me on the pool table. And then I'm like, brother in Christ, simmer down. And then there's, in one of the rooms, they find rope, and she's like, rope, Zach could use that on me, or I could use that on him. And I'm like, bruh, settle the fuck down. Like, settle. Oh my God. The friend Randy, I think he's 40 or whatever. I forget. He's a divorced firefighter. He's a perv, but also he's got this little chihuahua named Tito, something like that. And that poor thing is scared of Ambrose. Like Ambrose just goes, and then this dog is going, ah! But that's chihuahuas in general. They also reference going to Hallmark, like the ex and Zach go to Hallmark for Christmas shopping for this damn tree. And he gets her, or she gets him a candle as like a, I'm sorry I showed you the side that I wasn't supposed to show you, that sort of thing. I thought that was funny because I keep forgetting, what year was this book? Because I think it was like early 2000s. Because a lot of them are not around anymore. 2011. Yeah, so I think the movie was 2014. Yeah, somewhere around there. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh my God, would you believe it? Because they also drink in this, talk about sex, swear a bit in this, which some of this stuff with Marliee especially and Zach, they dumbed it down so hard, which is great. But also, these are two completely different things that I think if you're going into this honestly, the only talks of Christmas are very far in between of this. Again, it's just because was Zach's stuff more so than Marlee's. And even then, also, I forgot to mention this, but Marliee does the dating thing because her sister set her up for it. And she has a very terrible date with this guy who basically gets pissed drunk and knocks not only her margarita but water on her new dress. And I'm like, kind of glad they didn't do that in the movie because it was just sign up and then discarded. But in the movie as well, Marliee gets fired on her birthday, which is never talked about again, which they don't even mention birthdays in this, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered. Because the way Marliee is fired in the movie is she's fired like that same day because her and Zach are talking. But and it's like a petty, like, I'm gonna get you. This is like before Zach and her break up. And this one, Marliee is clearly being a dick to her. Very much so, like, I can see why. So fucking worth it, though. I forget how the dad is. Yeah, the dad for Marliee, the boss, hinted at looking like Santa Claus. Which, okay, in the movie, I think he's like, he could be like 50. And then, like, everyone kind of looks like they're either late 20s, early 30s. So it's like, so in true honesty, I would give this book a 7 out of 10. Some of the stuff I'm like, bro, settle the fuck down. Others, I'm like, okay. I see what the movie took from this. I really do like it. Also, I know I did not pay $1.99 for this. I've been ripped. It is a cute story. I would have liked more with Ambrose's stuff, but there is quite a bit, now that I'm kind of retelling it, there is quite a bit of stuff where Ambrose is like, really? Or like, I have been here before, and the last time I went to this place that Marliee works at, my nuts were chopped off. How dehumanized. Also, I wish we would have got more with Queenie, but Queenie doesn't really get like an insight on her either, which I guess that's fine, but I really would have liked Marliee to have kept Queenie and still lived with Zach, you know? And been like, hey, I'm gonna try and help the family here, try and make them feel welcome. And the mom's like, ooh, okay, the person who's staying here, they both like each other. Ooh, ooh. But they had just fought before then, so. Anywho, my child here and I are probably gonna do whatever. I have more movies to review and books to review. I have not still finished The Chronicles of Vladimir Todd or The Smallville. Why? Because I hate myself. And also, I found this one and I said, something else. Yeah. So anyway, I'll see you later on whatever. Go check out my review of The 9 Lives of Christmas down in the description below or in my channel, somewhere around there. I'll see y'all guys whenever. Bye-bye.